So Chris Bickford, writer, producer, let's get him on the screen. I'm going back to where his text is here. He's putting together some CFL projects. There's Chris. We got him here today. Chris, welcome to Flame Tech. It's good. Put the coffee down. I think you're got enough energy. You don't need any more, man. Tell us your story, what you got going on with the Canadian Football League right now, and some of the projects you'd like to see come to fruition.
Okay, yeah. So it kind of all started out. I was speaking to the CEO of the Ottawa Red Blacks, and he asked me, like, what could we do to kind of bring in a younger demographic to the CFL? Because obviously the average age of the fan in the Canadian Football League is 55 plus, which is a huge problem business-wise. We're filmmakers, so we came up with the idea, why don't we do a movie that showcases the Hamilton Ticats specifically, and the city of Hamilton, and the CFL, and we'll do a movie kind of like the Mighty Ducks did. The Mighty Ducks turned the Anaheim Ducks into like a major NHL franchise. So that's kind of our idea. We're in talks with the CFL in Hamilton now. It's going to be a $2.8 million movie, US dollars. We have $1.7 million in equity, and we've recently just got our first not donor, what's the word, investor, for low six figures. So it's pretty exciting. I think it's gonna go, and I think the news about the USFL is going to impact this as well. So what's going on with the USFL? It's crazy.
You actually texted me about that this morning. What did you exactly? Do you remember what you wrote me? You said something along the line. USFL.
I wrote you.
You said USFL will squash any XFL plans. What makes you say that?
Yeah. It's just my personal take. I think the CFL correctly is hoping that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Redbird Capital, and the XFL is gonna bail them out of a tough situation. From what I've read, they've lost between $60 and $80 million in the past 12 months. So obviously there's this hope that the XFL is going to bring in some capital. But now that the USFL is going to be competing against every other league, I predict that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to take his bucket loads of cash, and I think he's going to run as far away from Canada as he can. I may be wrong, but that's kind of what I think will happen.
So you're not a fan of the CFL XFL merger idea. Am I correct in that?
No, I think it's potentially a great idea, but I think people are mistaken if they think that it's the solution to salvaging the league. I think the league has to do things. I mean, there's a reason it's survived for 100 plus years, right? I think they have to be a little bit more aggressive in the way they market and promote the game. I think that's the biggest problem. If you ask anybody in Vancouver or Toronto or Montreal why they don't go watch the CFL, they're going to say that it's not as good as the NFL. But I think that that's a false statement. I think our league is as good as the NFL. It's a different style of play. Players are a little bit smaller, but if you look at any CFL team, they've got world-class speed. They have they're world-class athletes, and we don't promote that enough, I don't think.
Chris, some questions from our viewers regarding your movie. Randolph Zora, watching in Ontario, says, Chris, are you fashioning an NFL film style to your work? Are you looking at that? Are you looking at HBO Hard Knocks? What's your vision on this?
Yeah, good question. So it's going to be a movie similar to Rocky, to Hoosiers, The Natural. Remember that one with Robert Redford? So it's not a documentary. It's an actual movie. And it's about 4 12-year-old kids living in Hamilton. Blue-collar, tough families, low parental supervision. And they're kind of the typical losers, They're kind of modeled after me and my friends when we were 12. And they're obsessed with the Ticats. But the Ticats are terrible that year as well. So you got these kids who are kind of perceived as losers, and you have the Ticats who are losers. And then suddenly in the middle of the film, both the kids and the Ticats, they start winning. Things start to go better. And it reaches a climax at the end, and it's a great finish that'll have everyone in tears. I guarantee it.
From Ryan in Saratoga, New York, he says, will there be any crowdfunding for the remainder of the movie funds?
No. So we have one investor who came in last week for between $1 and $300,000 US. We've already invested 1.7 million in equity. So we're hoping that, I spoke to the CFL today. There's a chance that there'll be some help for us from corporate sponsors. We're exploring that route. And I'm also talking to a former NFL player who's probably watching this now. He's won 3 Super Bowls. He played with the biggest legend in the game. Because we're only about 900,000 away from being able to shoot, so that's not that much money to get going.
Chris, John Lynch here. What's the feeling of the Canadian fans, the guys you talk to, towards the XFL and American football? Do they like it or not? What? Yeah, I don't think they do, but am I right or wrong?
Well, I really think it depends on, and this will sound maybe tacky, but it depends on the age of the fan you're talking to. I think anybody under the age of 35 is very pro XFL and pro American rules. Anybody above 35, I'm guessing, is against it. My personal feeling is that if you change anything in the CFL, the league will be done within 18 months. Only because you look at the first XFL, that failed. And you got to remember that XFL 1 and 2, they had Vince McMahon, who's worth billions of dollars, literally, and he's like the best marketer. He's the best marketer on the planet. He could not make XFL work. Like, it died. USFL died. The Alliance of American Football, that was supposed to be the big league because you had Andrew Luck's dad as commissioner. You had a bunch of money in it. That died. So I think the only thing that's allowed the CFL to survive and to thrive some years is the uniqueness of it. The large field, 3 downs, and the Rouge.
So from some of our viewers, some good ones here from Randolph. He says, I like this idea. I think this will definitely fly. From Wayne, I like this guy, Chris. Wayne in Victoria. He seems like a big CFL fan and wants to promote the CFL. I like it. From Jeff, the Stamps fan. The average age of a CFL fan isn't really any different from an average NFL fan. I've always said fan age is an overblown concern. I wouldn't disagree with that. I would not necessarily disagree with that. From Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg, he says, I'll definitely tune into this. Very awesome, Chris. From Corey in Florida, give us a scoop on the plot. Who's the antagonist? The protagonist? Who's the villain? Who's the hero?
Who's the star?
Who's the star? Yeah.
The star is this is going to be really exciting. And this is what I tell the CFL, because we've already gotten a lot of press and we haven't even started. So, once we start casting it, it's about 4 boys. I don't know if I already kind of
yes,
said
you
this,
did.
But I'll say it again. It's about 4 boys from Hamilton, and they're losers, quote unquote, underdogs, kind of like me and my friends when we were growing up. So once we start casting it, we're going to cast the kids as unknown actors, just regular kids. We'll go to Toronto, we'll go across Canada, but we'll start in Toronto and Hamilton. The kids are the stars of the movie. They are kind of the heroes of the movie, and the antagonists, the people going against the kids, is basically life itself, having no parental supervision, not having a lot of hope for the future because, for a variety of different reasons. So it's kind of like Stand By Me in that way.
Cool. I think he's 12. Didn't you say?
The kids are 12?
Yeah.
Sounds like Lord of the Flies in a way too. So
there's some of that, maybe. Yeah.
What else would you like people to know, Chris?
Well, I just think that I think the CFL has to really kind of leverage the unique points that they have. I mean, there was one idea I had, like put a billboard over the Toronto freeway comparing the 40 speed of a CFL player and an NFL player. For a lot of those guys, like the CFL player is faster. So promote those things instead of just accepting the narrative that the CFL sucks, because it doesn't. I would argue it's very equal to the NFL in a lot of ways. What is it? 30 players go back and forth throughout any given season. This is what I finish with, if I could. The NBA, like in the early 80s, before Magic and Bird and those stars, the NBA was getting about 7,000 fans per game, and the average player was making about $80,000 for an 82-game schedule. So the NBA, in living memory, was in the same shape as the CFL is in now, but they marketed it better. They got more creative. They got more aggressive. They brought in some cool players. And suddenly each NBA franchise is worth $2.2 billion. And I think the CFL is that close to being there because we have the stadiums, we have the infrastructure, we have the history, like we have everything is in place. Just have to freaking go for it. And not accept the narrative that the NFL is automatically better. If you saw the NFL games this year.
Have you seen our stadium in Regina? Have you seen our stadium in Regina? The new one?
I've been to every stadium in the CFL except for Saskatchewan and Regina, and it's on my list. They're on my list.
You gotta come.
I want
to. Let's try and Mandy in Edmonton. This is exciting. Yeah, cool. I was getting the Stand By Me vibe, and that's my favorite movie. From Ticats fan, where is it here? Me, Ticat fan, Ticats for life. Watching on YouTube. CFL needs to merge and take a chance that could propel the CFL forward and increase fan bases and get more young people interested. From Corey in Florida, CFL, get Chris a seat at the conference table. Well, you've already had one, Chris, right? You've met with him on several times. So my last thing before I let you go is Mandy wants to know a projected release year or date for your movie.
Well, we need about another $900,000 to shoot, which is not that much money. Once that happens, it's a 4-week shoot. It's a 6-week edit, and then we bring it to festivals like the Toronto Film Festival, cons, like all the big festivals. Then we do a theatrical release. It's in movie theaters, and then it goes to digital Netflix. So you're looking at, we could have it from today 6 months away.
All right.
Just waiting on the right partners. CFL, hint, hint.
All right, Chris, thanks for the visit, my man. I appreciate it. Keep in touch.
Thank you, Rod.
All right,
Great
Chris
show.
Bickford.
Thanks to both of you.
Appreciate it.
We'll put our 900,000 together.
Yeah, we'll put ours together. What the hell, eh? I got it in the dash of my car.
Great.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.